Hello and welcome to the Higher School of Economics, Moscow, Russia. In this video, I'll be talking in detail about the purpose and different goals of multicultural education for young children. The field of early childhood education has been heavily influenced by research and theories of developmental psychology, which have identified phases of cognitive, social, and emotional development. It's not a secret that young children tend to organize information in broad categories that are often rigid or dichotomous. For example, when we were kids, we used to see the world in terms of good guys or bad guys. As a result, young children make assumptions about different groups and cultural assumptions that reflect the social, political, and economic histories in their respective communities and countries. We all know that children love to play. So, games and in particular the practice of play have traditionally been viewed as primary learning mode in early childhood classrooms that offer a fluid and imaginative sphere to introduce and explore issues with young children. Also, in the course of play, children can reveal beliefs that reflect biases and power inequalities. In this regard, teachers can use these revelations to engage children in conversations and in different activities in order to challenge their assumptions. Let's now turn to the discussion of purpose and different goals of multicultural education for young children. The purpose and practice of early childhood multicultural education differ across schools, communities, and countries. But it's important to note that most of them include efforts to ensure that children from all different ethnic and religious backgrounds have an equal and, most importantly, successful start in school and a strengthened sense of themselves and their abilities. 1. Cultural responsive teaching enables all children from different ethnic, religious, linguistic backgrounds to have a successful start in school and to participate fully in early childhood programs. So this goal is very important precisely because many countries today are experiencing a remarkable increase in the number of immigrant families whose children are struggling to bridge the gap between their home cultures and languages and those of the mainstream school. And in this respect, migration is often accompanied by temporary or chronic poverty, which can hamper the academic achievements of immigrant children. The Kamehameha Elementary Education Project has demonstrated how adapting classroom practices to be more compatible with children's culture has yielded significant results. For example, IGOA documented specific techniques such as the use of photographs and different artifacts in order to be able to create familiar spaces in the classroom premises that would help immigrant children in their classrooms to adjust to life on the one hand and schools on the other. 2. Encouraging children to develop comprehensive and realistic identities that embody their race, culture, gender, and abilities and their professional, family, and social histories. This requires that teachers nurture each child's construction of a confident self-concept and group identity in the classroom. And this is achieved by creating early childhood programs that would encourage all children to deepen their ties with their families and communities and to know and appreciate their unique attributes. It should be stressed that identities are highly complex and socially constructed, that are fluid, hybrid, and can change over time in light of social, political, and economic circumstances. In order to meet this goal, all children in this program need to be equally visible throughout the classroom and the curriculum. For example, teachers can display different photographs of children and their families and encourage them to share their ideas, their life experiences, and their feelings through different activities, such as talking in the classroom, singing different songs, being engaged in drawing activities, and finally, being engaged in different writing tasks. 3. Broadening perspectives and developing a sense of solidarity with all people and the natural world so that children can learn to recognize, respect, and appreciate commonalities and differences among people in their own communities, in their own country, and the world at large. When we were all kids, we used to see others as totally different with no connections to our own lives. Children growing up in homogeneous settings are particularly at risk of developing negative attitudes to members of other groups, to their languages, and in this regard, integrating children from a range of racial, cultural, linguistic, and socio-economic backgrounds is probably the most effective strategy for raising children with less bias. In this regard, teachers need to closely monitor cross-group interactions in order to ensure that societal divisions and power inequalities are not simply being replicated. For example, to expand children's perspectives, teachers can provide different activities, images, and objects that would depict a wide range of human appearances and activities. Critical thinking engages children to critically examine their own assumptions and inequities in their immediate environment and the larger world. It is surprising how children are able to identify injustices in their immediate world, such as biased beliefs and behavior of their peers, such as stereotyped messages in books and in other materials, and even in school policies and practices that, to their views, are unfair. For example, educators have been able to testify to the positive effects of engaging children in different conversations in which they can explore and challenge their assumptions and inequities in the world around them. 5. Engaging children in social activism can encourage and it can support children to gain the confidence they need in the classroom walls and skills in order to be activists for social change. It has been shown that teachers can effectively engage children as young as 4 years old in activism as long as the projects emerge from real incidents, as long as they are simple and direct, and if they have a clear, tangible focus and are geared to the children's experiences. And these activities enable children to create their own world, which is a little bit fair in their views. In conclusion, early childhood teachers need to be aware, they need to be flexible and creative, as they should be able to respond to increasingly complex social, political, and economic challenges that would support children who are targets of ethnic, linguistic, and economic discrimination. In the next video, I'll be talking about language and education policy in multilingual and multicultural education. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.